Welcome everyone for this online event of IVAO. This is the first time you can see me on the camera. I hope this will make your experience better. And today we are flying to Budapest, so that's my birthplace. So as you all might know, this is a special evening on the IVAO network because at this time of the year they try to cover as much airspace as possible, uh, both with ATC and as with airplanes with pilots. So hopefully we'll have more than 2,000 people on the network at the same time. And it's always nice because you have all the controllers, so there's air traffic control all over the place. And we should not have anywhere where there is no ATC above Europe. Right now, all along the airspace towards Budapest, there is air traffic control, so it should be a nice flight. There is two other people, Henk and Bas, who are flying with us today from Charleroi to Budapest, and there is of course a lot of other people. Currently, there are 1,370 people on the network, and it's steeply rising. The peak hours should be just an hour from now, starting an hour from now, I think. And as you can see, we are at Charleroi. If you have a look around, then you can see the two other pilots there in the Beauty and the Ryanair. The Beauty is Bas and the Ryanair is Henk. And as usual, my Charleroi scenery. So since it's going to be a long flight, we just jump in as usual and start setting up. I hope you can hear me well, and I hope everything is going to go fine. Feel free to comment in the chat. I will try to always look there and answer questions should you have any. So we are in the Toliss Airbus A321 Neo as usual, and we will do our cockpit and flight preparation first. So we check the engine master switches, they are in the off position, the mode selector is in normal, and the landing gear lever is down. The battery voltages are correct, and it's difficult to see them in the dark, but 27.9 and 28. Then we can turn on the batteries. Battery 1 powers battery 2, switch, and then battery 2 is on. Then external power is available, so we'll turn that on. And then we can check the parking brake pressure, that is fine. And we can turn on the displays. All the displays to maximum. Oops, that's my mouse. Also the MCDUs to maximum brightness, and the other displays as well. And I already checked, QNH was 9er, 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 if I remember correctly. At least in the 80s it was 9er, 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 it's 9er, 9er, 9er. That's good. And then while things set up here, we can go further. The external power is on. We'll also put some external air. I don't think that's available at Charleroi, but just to make our lives easier. And also turn down the air conditioning, because otherwise it gets very hot in the cabin. And thanks Bas for the feedback on the sound. It's great to hear that it's okay. A-OK. Then the cockpit lights are all set. Brightness of the 6 units is set. MACD is set. And then we check if the flap position on the display matches the lever. That's correct. And the speed brake is retracted. Then we do our flow on the top from the bottom left to right, and then the cruise supply oxygen goes on. We turn on the ADRs, always waiting till the on but sign goes off. In the sim we don't have to wait, but to be a bit more realistic we'll do that. And then when that's done, then we can go further, so that's good. We put the strobe lights on auto, the nav lights on 2 and 1. We put it on 2 today, seatbelt signs go on, no smoking signs auto, emergency lights armed, and then we can put the dome lights on dim, that's fine, because it's already dark. And test the annunciator lights, everything seems to be lit, so that's good. Go back to bright setting, no lights here, this is normal, external power is on, put on the fuel pumps, all the 6 fuel pumps. And then we do our fire tests, and for the fire tests I want to see this display to see that all the feedback is going well, and we can hear the feedback and see the feedback. So both engine fire test and APU fire test is paused. Then we turn on the radio panels here and also the radio panels down here. And that is more or less it. Let me check if I've done everything. Yes, and then we can initialize the FMGS. Since we are in the Neo, I can already just put flight plan here, and I'm going to just use this display. I will use this in plan mode, zoom in a bit, and already at this point I like to put this on nav and 20, so I can use this more as a TCAS display while I use the other as a map display. And then to go further, we'll have to actually contact already tower. So we can tune to tower, which is if I remember correctly, 121.305. But we'll also check that frequency just to be safe. 121 and 305, indeed, that was correct. And we can already prepare Brussels approach for the next frequency, which is going to be 118.255. 118.255. Prepared, okay. And one thing we still need to do is to fuel the plane. We need exactly 10 tons of fuel, so that's fine. 10 tons of fuel. We just do the quick fueling option of the Toliss, and I've already set 200 passengers, a ton of cargo, and then we can play around with a bit of a random mass distribution just to not always have the same. So now the load is fine. And then maybe before we forget it, we can already close all the doors, because now I've set the doors to manual just so that we can see the ground services like you might have seen it from outside. So we have the custom ground services. This is a free ground service plugin, and I've made the Charleroi liveries for the real life loaders and the food trucks. So now we can remove these external ground service things and close the doors before we forget that. And I'm just gonna put them back on auto, and then they are closing when they should be closing. Auto, everything is on auto, so that should be taken care of. And then we can start actually with their initialization. We are flying from Charleroi, so Echo Bravo Charlie India to Budapest, which is Lima Hotel Bravo Papa, right? Lima Hotel Bravo Papa, yes. And our alternate is Zagreb, which is Lima Delta Zulu Alpha. And our flight number is Wizz Air 2185 as usual. So that's not a real live flight number for this flight, but there is a Wizz Air flight from Charleroi, so that's already realistic enough. I'm just gonna check that maybe the sound levels are a bit high. So while we are not listening to them, I'm going to turn down the volume a bit.
Ryanair 1 Lima Whiskey, you are clear for Budapest. Departure SOPOK 8 Yankee, initial climb 4,000 feet, squawk.
But at least we know it's going to be the 8 Yankee, so it's already something good to know. Okay, where were we? Our cost index is going to be 27. And our flight level is 350 to start with. And actually I checked that this doesn't matter, because the step to 230 would be so late that we will start descending at that point. So it's not an issue. We can check our temperature at the cruise altitude. And that's going to be more or less minus 58 on average, I think. Minus 58 on average. Let's say minus 57. Okay, minus 57 on average. And then IRS initialization, we need to match the reference to the GPS position. So the GPS is 528.1. Then that needs to go 28.1, and then the longitude is 283. 283, and then align on reference, confirm align, and that's then done. Then we need to do our flight plan, and for that we'll ask for clearance first. And now I will put back our volume, so that's also more audible. Volume. Okay. What's the ATIS? So the ATIS in Charleroi is currently, I'm checking WebEye, but things will slow down as usual. I hope the network is not going to collapse, because that's sometimes a problem on these continental online days, or crowded sky even, that's the official name today. So it's information Charlie, so we have information Charlie, which says that at Charleroi there is a 11 knots of wind from 250 degrees, so it's almost in the runway axis, 4 degrees Celsius, cloud scattered at 3,600 feet above the ground level. There is no significant weather, and QNH is 90909 on arrival and departure runway 24, transition altitude is 4,500 feet. Good, so we have that noted, and we will ask our clearance. Charleroi Tower, Wizz Air 2185, good evening.
Wizz Air 2185, Charleroi Tower.
Wizz Air 2185 is an Airbus A321neo at stand 64 with information Charlie. We'd like to request IFR to Lima Hotel Bravo Papa.
Wizz Air 2185, you are clear for Budapest Airport, departure SOPOK 8 Yankee, initial climb 4,000 feet, squawk 5103, startup approved.
We are clear to Budapest from runway 24, the SOPOK 8 Yankee departure, the initial climb is 4,000 feet, squawk 5103, and cleared for startup. Wizz Air 2185.
Wizz Air 2185, feedback correct.
Alright. Then we do our route planning, so we depart Charleroi runway 24 on the SOPOK 8 Yankee departure, no transition, and insert, and then here we can see the flight plan being built. That's why I like this view. And then from SOPOK we have our flight plan down here. So we take Airways to start with, and then we click Airways, and that's a Yankee 863, Yankee 863. And then the Toliss is nice, or the Airbus is nice, you can just keep putting in the airways, and the intersection points or the waypoints will be automatically derived from where these airways intersect. So now we can just say Lima 607, Lima 607, or sometimes they say it's lower 607, and then it's via ROPUV, so that's correct, it's always worth checking it. Then we go to EMGOD, and from there it's gonna be direct, so we cannot do airways anymore. So it's EMGOD, EMGOD, and then we insert that, and then we keep going down till we are at EMGOD. And then from there it's direct, so you can either click and then give in the waypoints, or you can just directly put in the waypoints. So we go to BOMBI, BOMBI, and then just clicking, and you can insert the waypoint. It's the easiest. And then BOREP.
Ready for push and start.
BOREP, and then ENITA.
Station calling, can you call back again?
And then PEPIK.
Beauty 015 is ready for push and start.
And then BERVA.
015, pushback approved, facing east.
And NIT.
Pushback approved, facing east, Beauty 015.
And NIT. And then from there we do an airway. And airway, which is the Mike 748. Mike 748. And we do that to ARFOX. ARFOX. And then normally, oops, okay, from ARFOX starts our arrival, which we accept to be the ARFOX 2 Tango. We can maybe open the chart up also to have a quick look. That's usually useful for transitions. Hi Steph, thanks for following the stream. And you come and go because of dinner, of course. It's a long stream, so that's just normal. That's always nice, even if you are here for a short time. Okay, so we were opening our arrival chart, which should be the ARFOX. ARFOX? Oh yeah, I'm still at Charleroi. Okay, that's why it's strange. Okay, so we want to look at Budapest. Budapest. Arrival, ARFOX, that's already better. It was 2 Tango, if I'm remembering correctly. ARFOX 2 Tango, indeed. ARFOX 2 Tango, which takes us to, from here, to Katus. Yeah, because we are landing runway 13 right. That was what we were given, right? I think that's I checked. Did I plan that also, just to be sure? 13 right, yes, good. So that arrival takes us to Katus, and from there we'll turn back and be on the ILS. Or we might get a direct earlier, we'll see that. But so that's correct. So Budapest arrival, ILS 13 right. ILS 13 right. The ARFOX 2 Tango, and then via Katus. That's why we need the chart. No transition insert. And then we just quickly go through, and that does look indeed correct. Very good. And then one thing we can still do is to fill in the alternate. So we get a full fuel prediction also for the alternate. Otherwise, if you don't fill in the route, your fuel prediction for the alternate is not going to be displayed correctly. So back to the charts. And our alternate route is quite straightforward. And so we depart from 13 right, as usual. The Tuzla to Yankee. No transition insert. Then from Tuzla direct to Webal. And then from Webal is the Webal 1 Zulu arrival. And we also have to look at that. Webal 1 Zulu departure, arrival, sorry. And then what was the runway? The runway at Zagreb was supposed to be the 04. And then we need to look. So 04, to which procedure comes from that arrival. So we then look for Zagreb, which is Lima Delta Zulu Alpha, if I remember correctly, Lima Delta Zulu Alpha, which is Zagreb, okay. Then we have arrivals, which was the Webal 1 Zulu. Webal 1 Zulu. Okay, so of course the first one, and I look from the back. And that should take us to Exxon.
UT015 taxi to point number 5.
And the approach is trial and temporary. Okay, let's just take the normal ILS.
November 5 via Mike 5 UT015.
And that comes from... So we should come from Exxon. Okay, so that's not good. 04 ILS Zulu 04. That comes from Exxon. Okay, so that we will take that. The ILS Zulu 04 via the Webal 1 Zulu arrival. Webal 1 Zulu arrival via Exxon, and no transition and insert. And that does look indeed good, great. Okay, that's always a bit of a difficulty when you want to make a fully correct flight plan already at the beginning of the flight. But especially when the airspace is so busy as today, it's best to do that at the beginning of the flight, otherwise you might not have time. Okay, so the flight plan is done. We don't need a secondary flight plan. The frequencies are most likely fine for now. This can go back to ARC. We can zoom in and display the constraints and put the Terran on and put it a bit lower. Our initial cleared altitude was already 4,000 feet, so that we should set. The QNH is set, that's fine. our flight plan is correct, then we need to fill the init bay page, and that we can fill from the Toliss menu. So we go to the loading performance first, and then 70.6
015 is approaching November 5, ready for departure.
to 8.5.
This is 015. You are clear for takeoff runway
10,000.
24. Wind 250 degrees, 11 knots.
And then we have a lot of extra time because I also took extra fuel for holding, so that's a lot of extra time. Block fuel 10 tons, alright. It's quite a lot of extra time. 1 hour 28. That's tiny bit strange, to be honest. Maybe the winds are very different. Let's have a look. And that's what we still need to fill. So and also the performance page. We do a simple 1 flap normal takeoff, no toga, and PEX can stay on. And then the V1 is 154, the rotation speed is 157, and the V2 is 159er. Transition altitude is correct, 4,500 feet, so we'll our cleared altitude is under the transition altitude. And the flexed temperature is 5.5, and then the flaps settings were 1/down 0.4, 1/down 0.3, and down. I think now I messed this up. It should be down 0.3. Indeed, great. Okay, and that's correct. Takeoff performance is set and doors are closed. Then let's start our APU, right? Reference barometer is set. Flight direction buttons are active. LS and ND scales are set. Speed, Mach, dotted ATC altitude set. Loudspeaker volumes are fine. Timers on the panel are reset. Anti-skid is nominal, normal on. Transponder code, we have not yet entered our transponder code. It's really not nice. That should be 5103, 5103, and it can go on, and the transponder to above setting, so we see, I don't know why my camera died. I didn't die. Sorry about that. I thought my camera died for a second. Or did it? That's a bit of an issue. I don't know why did my camera die on me. Hi Ruben. We are having some slight technical issues for some reason. We are trying to fix that.
One wiki taxi to holding point November 5 via Mike 6 November.
Otherwise, this is fine, all set up.
To holding point November 5 via Mike.
Yes, I'm going to try to fix the camera. We just want to start the APU.
015, contact Brussels approach on 118.255.
Okay, so we'll try to fix the camera.
118.255 for beauty 015, thank you, bye-bye.
Where did my OBS go? Okay. And I think I will just have to try to restart the camera because for some reason it's not running. Yeah, as long as it's not a flight issue, it's better, but I'm a bit annoyed by not being able to set the camera, because that was one of the new things about today. And internally I can see the camera, so there is nothing wrong with it. That is kind of a bit of strange. What should I do? I think I might try to disconnect the camera and plug it in again. That's always a good solution, right? Plug it out, then plug it back in. The best I can try. Uh-huh.
Ryanair 1 Lima Whiskey, you're floating point number 5,
Ryanair 1 Lima Whiskey, you are clear for takeoff runway 24, wind 250 degrees, 11 knots.
Yes, for takeoff runway 24 for Ryanair 1 Lima Whiskey.
Well, might be that today we are not going to have a camera, which is kind of a pity. Hmm. FPS, I've already set it to 30. No, does not want to appear. I will try to just quickly remove the camera and then edit once more. And then if it doesn't work, then we will just fly as we fly usually. But my settings are correct. I can see the camera working fine just on my screen. So it's just for some reason OBS which doesn't want to show the camera. And now it's back on. Okay, I'm just going to leave it on default, and because I think probably that's the best I can do. And I'm just going to, discard changes, cancel, okay, and then back to a normal size that I'm not too big and not taking up too much space from the stream. So we are back in business, and our APU is already running. So then we can turn off our external power, and the APU bleed can go on. And then we can quickly have a look at our temperature in the cabin, which is quite fine actually. That's good. And the APU bleed is on. Then we can request pushback. I'm just going to put on my airport chart and a departure chart, not like I don't know Charleroi, but just to be safe.
Ryanair 1 Lima Whiskey, contact the Brussels approach on 118.255.
SOPOK 8 Yankee, that was our departure. So make a right turn afterwards. Alright. So I hope that the camera issue is really solved. I think so. And then request push and start. Wizz Air 2185 requesting push and start.
And outside of this full back facing west.
Wizz Air 2185, pushback approved, facing west. Wizz Air 2185. Okay, normally we should be facing east, but that's a new procedure and a lot of people don't know it yet because of the extended runway. So we will just push to the west, like this is already suggested here to be the case. And normally it should also be a taxiway Golf, I think, because there is a special procedure.
Ground to cockpit, blood knowledge, call me through the menu when you are ready.
Alright, we are ready.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
And hi to Hassin also. Thanks for joining. There was a bit of a technical issue, but we are back on track. And where is our pushback track? Alright, they are coming. And we have already prepared everything. We can also do just quickly a before start checklist. So the cockpit preparation is complete.
All doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
And I can actually show the checklist. if I go to charts and this. So the cockpit preparation is complete. The gears and pins and covers are removed. The signs are on and auto. ADIRs are on and off. Fuel quantity is set and it's balanced. Takeoff data is set. BOREP is set. Window doors are closed and armed. The beacon light is going on. Mobile phones are off. Thrust levers are idle and parking brakes are set. So the before start checklist is complete. We are good to go.
Now connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Alright, then release the parking brakes.
Starting pushback and you may start engines.
Okay, then the switch goes to normal. We turn on the dual bleed, and then engine number 2 can start. And it will take first 30 seconds for the cooling of the engine because of the new engine, and then the engine will start. And then we'll proceed with the after engine start flow. So you can actually here see that the N2 spools up till like a bit below 10%, then a cooling sequence starts, and the dual cooling means that the two engines are being cooled at the same time. So when engine number 1 starts after 2, it doesn't have to have an extra 30 seconds of cooling sequence. So that's a bit of a time saving in that sense. So you see the cooling sequence is done, and then N2 can proceed to rise, and then from there on is just a normal start sequence. So we can have a look at the starting engine. As we are being pushed back to our position. And as I said, in real life now the push would be towards the east, and then we would take off from Echo's November 7 from the extended runway. And since we are not gonna do that today, I will also have to adjust something in the MCDU before we take off, so that we are doing basically a takeoff from an offset position from the beginning of the runway as it is programmed into the database of X-Plane. And that's going to go to here, the takeoff shift.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
So we set parking brake, and then engine 1 is available. Sorry, engine 2 is available, so engine 1 is started. And then this takeoff shift is the shift from the runway position, the beginning of the runway. So 3,200 meters is the runway length now. But we'll take off from a position which is 2,405 meters, let's say 2,400 meters. So we have a takeoff shift of 800 meters. So we can set that, and that's going to adjust the performance of the engine to take that into account automatically. So that's very nice. The engine number 1 is also starting. You can see it as much as visible in the darkness, of course. And to the right we should see Charleroi. As much it's visible again. There you go. We are the last ones to depart.
Disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time on have a safe flight.
Okay, engine number 1 is also available, so this can go back to normal. We can close the cockpit door, arm the spoilers, reset the rudder trim, set flaps to takeoff, and also set the trim to down 0.4. You can check that by clicking flight control, and then set the trim here down 0.3, down 0.3. So that is set, and the APU bleeds can go off. Ground span, rudder, flaps, pitch trim, engine anti-ice and wing anti-ice. We'll use that because it's quite cold and there are some clouds. And then the APU master can go off. After start, anti-ice as required. ECAM status checked. There is all green. Pitch trim is set. Rudder trim is 0. That's good. And there was a hand signal on the right which we didn't look at. But then we can request taxi. Wizz Air 2185 ready to taxi.
Wizz Air 2185 taxi to holding point November 5 via Mike 6 number.
Taxi to holding point November 5 via Mike 6, and enable Mike 6 is already behind us. Can we taxi via Mike 5 and November?
Wizz Wizard 2185, you are right. Taxi to holding point number 5 via Golf Mike 5.
Taxi to holding point number 5, Golf and Mike 5, Wizard 2185, thank you. So the Golf is correctly taken account, then we are on the wrong taxiway because Golf is the taxiway in between the two lit ones. So that's what we are going to do, and then we can roll taxi lights and runway turn-off lights, and then let's go to Golf. And then we will continue. So we have been pushed back to the wrong taxi line. Let's say it's the pushback guy's fault, not ours. And then we can put also just a brake test. That's fine. Brakes are available. This should have started running already, the block timer. Then auto brake is max for takeoff. We can tell the cabin that we are going to take off and do a takeoff config test, and also controls full aft, full forward, left and right, and then disconnect nose wheel, rudder right, rudder left, so controls are full and free. And then this is taxi line Golf actually. And I need this a bit closer to me. So bye bye Charleroi. And then now that we are rolling, we don't need the lights anymore to be better visibility in the cockpit for takeoff. And that is it. Our frequencies are prepared, so we should be ready to go. Let's have a checklist before takeoff. Checklist already prepared. We'll do that when we are at the holding point. So you have to go left here. You can see that there is a bit of uphill then to the runway. That's very realistic at Charleroi. That's how it is in real life. And then we'll stop here at the holding point and then do our checks quickly.
Wizard 2185, you are clear for takeoff, runway 24, wind 248 degrees, 10 knots.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 24, Wizard 2185. Okay, so then we put our lights on, landing lights on, nose wheel lights takeoff, strobe lights on. Just once more to the cabin, our TA array, the transponder goes to TA array. And just a quick checklist. Flight controls check, flight instrument checks, briefing is the same, no change. Flap setting confirmed 1, FMA takeoff data is ready, transponder set, ECAM memo, takeoff no blue, cabin is secured, engine mode as required, so normal, TCAS TRA packs can stay on. So before takeoff checklist is complete, we can line up and take off. We are already cleared. And hello to all the 5 people who are watching right now, thanks for joining. And feel free to write stuff in the chat. So before takeoff, checklist was all done. The approach path is free. And we can switch to our charts for the departure. Can see Hank already says on the chat that there is a lot of traffic in the air. Great, that's why we are flying today. Okay, and that's more or less on the center line. So let's start the timer, takeoff. I have control, and then first spool up the engines to 50% N1. And that's stable, and then we go to the second click, man flex, brake maximum SRS, runway and auto throttle, and then we go a bit forward on the stick, keep center line, engine parameters are good, 80 knots, we can ease up on the yoke joystick, sorry. Keep center line. 120 knots. V1 rotate. And there is a positive rate. Gear up. The lights on the nose wheel off, spoilers, and already turned the autopilot on. And just that I can hear the ATC a bit better, I'm going to pull down the volume. Okay.
With the 2185, contact Brussels approach on 118.255. Goodbye.
Brussels approach on 118.255, is that 2185, thanks, bye bye. And then we go back to throttle climb, switch frequency, and then quickly prepare the next frequency, 1311. And then we can say hi to Brussels approach. Brussels approach with 2185, good evening, climbing 4000 feet, crossing 2800 feet.
With 285 radar contact, climb flight level 70, confirm SOPOK for you.
Climb flight level 70 and SOPOK 8 Yankee is our departure.
185, copy. Beeline 53 Yankee, contact, climb flight level 70. Climb flight level 70.
And after the safe speed we can go flaps
Beeline 53 Yankee, contact, Brussels control 131.1, goodbye. Control 131.1, bye-bye.
And now you can see that as the Airbus accelerates, the climb rate initially is very low because we are more keeping the pitch low to be able to gain speed, and then as we reach the 250 knots, then we'll pitch up with the same engine power and then continue the climb. And as we get to 4,500 feet, we can also switch to standard pressure.
215, contact with Brussels control 131.1, goodbye.
Brussels control on 131.1, thanks, have a nice evening, bye bye, Wizz Air 285. And then it's 1311. And then we quickly listen a bit, okay. Brussels control Wizz Air 2185, good evening, climbing flight level 70, crossing flight level 60.
Wizz Air 2185, Brussels control, hello, radar contact, turn right, direct ETNO, climb to flight level 230.
Direct ETNO with a right turn and flight, climb flight level 230 Wizz Air 2185.
Beeline 53 Yankee, right climb 2000 feet per minute or greater.
230 and direct ETNO.
Wizz Air 2185, rate of climb 2000 feet per minute or less.
Right turn and the climb is 2000 feet per minute maximum. Wizz Air 2185.
Beeline 11 Tango Papa, monitor Unicom 122.8 Papa.
And now you can see that
Unicom 122.8 for Beeline 1 Tango Papa. Thanks for coming online. Have a nice evening.
that's an open climb. So now we are not in.
Monitor Unicom 122.8
Now we are not in a selected mode.
Pendular Unicom 122.8, straight service. Bye.
That's good. We had to do something more special than just following the flight director. I mean, we are still following the flight director, but we had to intervene a bit, direct, and then a limited climb rate. That's nice. A bit of extra action is always nice. It's a bit of a pity, of course. It's dark because you cannot see much. But now that we are a bit higher, I can also. Maybe when we cross flight level 100, I will put a bit more lights on. And there is no ice detected, but we are still climbing through clouds, so I will leave the icing, the anti-ice features on. And indeed in Germany there is only flight information service for a short while. So we'll see how that plays out on the long term. Okay, we have closed flight level 100, so we can turn off our landing lights and retract. Seatbelt sights can go off, and I'm also going to make it a tiny bit more bright in here, since it's not a critical phase of the flight anymore. We can also turn on the weather radar, and then we would see weather on the second display while we see the terrain on the first one. I mean on the captain side and the pilot monitoring side, assuming that I'm the pilot flying.
Charleroi 59 Zulu, descend to 4,000 feet, QNH 1,000.
4,000 feet, QNH 1,000, Zulu.
And we can prepare the next frequency already. So actually there is flight information service in Germany at 123.525. So they can give us information, but they cannot control us at the beginning. And I see that from maybe the central German there is
Beeline
also...
53 Yankee, climb to flight level 390. Flight level 390, Beeline 53 Yankee.
I think we just flew over the outer marker, or the inner marker, the inner marker of Charleroi. Yeah, there is just under us the parking for Charleroi, and there's the runway, not much visible from the clouds. Ah yeah, now the southern apron and the runway lights. Alright. Probably SOPOK 8 uniform departure would have been better.
Good evening, Air Portugal 089er with you for climbing flight level 7.
Air Portugal 089er, Brussels control, hello, radar contact, direct Medil, climbs to flight level 21 small.
How's the traffic?
Climbing flight level 210, Air Portugal 089er.
Right, WebEye is dying already, so...
Correction, direct to Val, climb to flight level 210.
Climbing flight level 210, direct Robau, Air Portugal 089er.
And do we have a checklist? Of course, we have not done our after takeoff checklist. Let's see what's in there.
Air 59 uniform, contact Paris 128.105, over.
Landing is wrap, flaps are retracted, backs are on, and BOREP is set standard. And the dual cooling could have gone off already earlier, but otherwise gears are up.
Air 59er uniform, contact Paris 128.105, over.
That's all good. Alright. Then we are quite ready and prepared. We can have a look at the frequencies that will be coming up later on.
Beeline 53, resume on rate of climb. Resume on with Air 2185, resume on rate of climb.
Resume on rate of climb with Air 2185. And then we can just click open, selected climb, and then you will see that probably our climb rate will change. And of course we will first speed up, and then our climb rate will go back again. So for speeding up we pitch down.
Beeline 855, monitor Unicom 122.8, bye bye.
Unicom on 122.8, thank you, bye bye.
So now we are slowly gaining speed to the originally planned speed.
Cargolux 59er Zoo, continue present heading, descend to 3,000 feet, vector for ILS-24.
Present heading 3,000 feet, in fact is ILS-24, 592.
Yeah, we were preparing the next frequency. So first, now we will have probably till Eteno, which is at 1858 UTC. So that's 7 minutes, and nothing is going to happen. So we have 7 minutes when we can prepare the rest of the flight. I mean, the next sections of the flight. If you don't have anything to do during the flight, it always means you can start preparing something, because later on, if you are busy, you don't have time. It's also in real life.
Hello, 376, Golf Alpha level 302.
Jet 6 Golf, Brussels Control, hello, fight.
Thank you.
So there is Langen information, and what else is there here? There is Langen radar at 127725. Oops, Langen.
Brussels Control, ISR73 Papa, request for the climb.
127725.
ISR73 Papa, sorry, monitor Unicom, 122 for further, bye bye. Over to Unicom, ISR73 Papa, thank you very much for the service, au revoir.
Or 123280.
Charlie 59 Zulu, turn right heading 120, clear LS24.
Right turn 120, clear LS24, Coglux, 5 Zulu.
Charlie 59 Zulu, correction, turn right heading 210, clear LS24.
210 degrees, Coglux, 5 Zulu.
Portugal 089er, contact Paris 12 decimal 105, goodbye.
And soon we should also get the further climb.
With 2185, climb to flight level 350.
Flight level 350, Wizard 2185. And that's our final cruise altitude. It's easy in the Airbus, you just turn and then we go. Off we go. We can also prepare some charts now that we don't have anything to do. And so we don't need anything from Charleroi. From now on, what we need is Budapest. So Lima Hotel Bravo Papa, Budapest. And the QNH is 1008. I can already just as a side note put it down. We'll of course have a look at the 80s before we arrive as part of the descent checklist. And we need 3 charts minimum. It's the arrival, so that was the ARFOX 2 Tango if I remember correctly. We'll check that. So it was the ARFOX 2 Tango, that's what we expect. And so this is the ARFOX 2 Tango coming from the northwest. And then the approach is the ILS runway 13 right.
Sorry, correction. Coglux 59 Zulu, established ILS 24.
Charlie 59 Zulu, 26 degrees 7, that's runway 24, clear to land.
And then we need an airport chart and a taxi and parking chart. That's apron 2 right, I think.
Sorry about that, I was not aware. Contact
okay.
Luxembourg 118 decimal 10. Bye-bye.
So we have our charts ready. And our FMC is programmed, so we are pretty much ready for anything.
Cruise A, FMC 1 from Mike Charlie, climb flight level 70.
France 1 to Mike Charlie, Brussels Control, hello, radar contact, direct Matix, climb flight level 190.
It's getting a bit cold in the cockpit, so maybe we can turn the heat up a bit.
Roger, climb level 150.
And there is Liège there at the distance. The airport of Liège is still visible a bit. I think, yes, that's Liège. And then to the right there should be the Ardennes. That's why I don't see much light in the distance here, and the highway goes south of the Ardennes. And we are just about 1.5 minutes from the border, more or less. So soon we should be handed over. And then we can ask, of course, Langen information for flight information services. And then we will wait till one of the Langen radars asks us to go over to their frequency. I see the weather above southeast of Germany and Austria is quite miserable. And maybe Czechia, so there is some snow there. Budapest seems to be fine weather. Fine as winter goes.
Descend to flight level 250.
And the network is still holding, so that's always very good, because sometimes during these events, I mean, the past two events,
3245, like about 60, climbing 70.
so the past two events, that was not always the case. And here we can also put up a map. So the best is to...
Control beeline 3245, flight level 70.
Yeah, so we are just on the border.
Reserve control,
What I like
want to...
is also the Navigraph charts, the high en route charts, which is a bit more difficult to see where you are, but it shows more the FIR boundaries, and then you know in which ATC region you are. And I can see that just right now the Brussels control died on a Wizz Air, and I think that's why nobody is replying to the call. We can check, the frequency is still alive.
Control, Alfonso 1 to Mike Charlie, for climb Passerello 190.
France 1 to Mike Charlie, I firm climb flight level 190.
Right, Brussels control is back.
Climb Passerello 190, Alfonso 1 to Mike Charlie.
France 1 to Mike Charlie, direct Matrix.
Yeah, so Steph is telling us that the bus is 40 nautical miles ahead of Henk.
Direct Matrix,
And then I'm
1 to Mike Charlie.
18 nautical miles behind.
245 Brussels.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
245, flight level 70.
I see more or less the same from WebEye, so that's confirmed. Thank you for the information.
Russian Surge at 6 Golf, tap off descent to the Dustos.
To Jet 6 Golf, descend to flight level 250.
Descent 250 to Jet 6 Golf.
Beeline 3245, Brussels control.
Beeline 3245, go ahead.
Yeah, I think something is not really okay with Brussels control.
Beeline 3245.
Air France 1 to Mike Charlie, contact Paris 128 decimal 105. Bye-bye.
Brussels control, hello, IVAO 3250, the 5 miles to Aduto, flight level 360.
Two stations calling at the same time.
Control, hello, Golfer 6, 50340.
Corsair 6, Brussels control, hello identified.
I should see where the other people are, if we are going to be contacting Langen on the north or the southern frequency.
The other station calling, say again?
Good question.
Reserve 2185, monitor Unicom 122 decimal 8, bye-bye.
Unicom 122 decimal 8, thanks for the service, bye bye. Wizard 2185. Okay, Unicom, and we will do that manually in the window here because I've already prepared my frequencies. And then maybe we can also just have a quick flight information service just to give some traffic for this person who is monitoring that frequency. So that's 123525. 123525.
Information Romeo. 1800
Ooh,
Zulu.
that's not good.
Link 280 F11 gust 18. Visibility 10. Sky conditions 1400 broken. 3400 overcast.
Okay, they are using an actual information frequency which has an 80s on in X-plane. I should have turned that off. Otherwise, this is really annoying. What if I...
Wires Buck Information Romeo. 100 Zulu weather. Wind 280 at 11 gust 18. Visibility 10. Rain.
123.525.
1,400 broken. 3,400 overcast. Temperature 3.
Okay, we'll see if I can turn the volume down there.
Arriving runways 24, 24 left. Departing runways 24, 24 left.
Eurosat 635 radio check. This is frequency 121.730.
Okay, no, we are just not gonna go on that frequency. It's too much. It's we don't need to go. It's just flight information service in any case. Soon we'll arrive in like 5 minutes to Langen Radar, and then we just contact Langen Radar. Don't think we have anything better to do than that. And I think we'll immediately contact the south. So 123.280, 123.280, 123.280. I can see that in VSI. And yeah, still climbing. So with the Airbus, the climb always takes ages. Huh, Bass just got kicked off the network. That's not great. That's not great. Maybe try reconnecting to another server. That sometimes happens. Sometimes happens, yeah, when the servers are so busy. Like for example, I cannot even see on WebEye anymore how many people are on the servers because it's so overloaded. It's always a bit annoying that we have these quite nice events organized, and then the servers are not always able to take the load. So what I was saying about the climb performance of the Airbus, well, climb performance, it's how it's programmed. The final parts of the climbs are always very shallow. And I think the climb performance, I mean the climb profile in the Boeings is much steeper. Yay! Very good. Bass managed to be back on the network. So that's good. So if there are any questions about some Airbus flying in the sim, I'm happy to answer. Just feel free to write in the chat and we can discuss some interesting topics if you ask something. Especially now when there is no ATC, but again that's going to change quite quickly as we will arrive to the next area. I can also zoom out more because we are now very far. We are still so far from Budapest that fully zoomed out we cannot see it. That's always a bad sign, let's say. If I zoom out much, you can see the Alps are there to the right on the database. I'm a bit curious which Langen we will need to contact, so I think it's going to be south because we are going to be not in the northern frequency. So I think I'm right to assume it's going to be 123.280. 123.280. And we are about to level off on the cruise altitude. Just flight rate 350, and then we will see here that the alt mode is armed. Now we are in alt star, that means that we are now capturing the cruise altitude, and we are also switching to Mach hold. And then when we have captured the altitude, then alt star switches to alt cruise, and then cruise altitude, and then the Mach, the aimed speed goes a bit higher, and then the engines spool up a bit to go to the target speed, and then when we are on the target speed, then that's going to be our cruise target speed and the cruise altitude, and the speed is in Mach. That's why you see that setting. And here we can then go to performance, and you can see that we are in managed cruise mode, and we are aiming at Mach 0.78 at a cruise level of 350. So you see we are already at 7.8, and there is a bit of rounding, so probably the aimed is more precisely set than .78, just the display doesn't see it. Alright, Hank also got twice disconnected, but directly reconnected, very good. Yeah, fingers crossed that we can stay on. I'm so far online. We should hear a beep if we disconnect from the server, so we can reconnect very quickly. I can see there is a plane somewhere to the right of us. Ah, yeah. There in the distance you cannot see it very well, but I can try to zoom in. Of course it's very dark, but there just above our fuselage there is a plane crossing from left to right. And we could see that on the TCAS. And now so here you can see. That's why I like to have this right hand screen and a more zoomed in and a circular around us display, because I can see the TCAS zoomed in better. What we can do right now is to switch from normal to below already now. That means that the TCAS is going to display traffic 2,700-ish feet above us until 7,500-ish, so 2,500 above, 7,500 below-ish. So the main thing I want to say is that it's going to show a bigger slice of air under us than above. The normal, so the middle setting, shows the same amount of airspace above and below. It is like 2,500, 2,700 feet. I would have to check, I don't remember. The above goes from 2,500-ish below to 7,500 above, and then the below is the other way around. So just 2,500 above and 7,500 below. So the point is, when you are climbing, you should be on the above setting, so you can see more of the airspace above you, and then when you're descending, you should be on the below, and then you can see more of the airspace below you. Our top of descent, by the way, is around 50 minutes from now, 1956 UTC. Yep, so it's 48 minutes till the top of descent. And we are almost in the airspace of Lange Radar, so maybe I will just contact them. And then the frequency is 123280, if we were right. 123280, yes. 123280.
Argentina 89 Torre.
Because we are just a few minutes.
Lufthansa 3 November Alpha, climb flight level 240.
Lufthansa 3 November Alpha, climbing flight level 240.
Okay.
Euro 15569, contact Langen Radar 127.725, bye-bye.
I have a feeling that some people are not replying. There must be some issue with the network.
Euro 15569, contact Langen Radar 127.725. Contact 127.725, Garage, and I say World Express 561.
Lange Radar Wizard 2185, good evening. We are inbound BOCAP at flight level 350.
With the 2185, Langen Radar, very good evening, sir, identified.
Langen Radar, Axel 005, good evening. Direct Abdal, flight level 140.
Right.
005, very good evening, sir, identified. Continue climb flight level 280 and contact Munich Radar on frequency 118.235, bye-bye.
118.235 and climb flight level 280.
And then what's going to be the next frequency? Now we are at 123.280, and then
Lufthansa Romeo Kilo, do you have the runway at Munich?
Lufthansa 8 Romeo Kilo, negative, but I will ask the approach controller standby.
Thank you.
there's going to be, no, that's another information.
Dankeschön, guten Abend, Eurowings 7 Mike Hotel passing level 107, I think 140.
Eurowings 7 Mike Hotel, Langen, Charleroi identified, climb flight level 240.
Flight level 240, Eurowings 7 Hotel, danke.
Yeah, WebEye is so slow it's impossible to check frequencies, so we'll have to do it the real way and actually just listen to the frequencies they tell us to tune to, which I'm always a bit afraid of. Not afraid of, but I prefer to be prepared, so I don't like when I cannot check the frequencies in advance. And yeah, WebEye is completely dying. Impossible to check things anymore. Yeah, until now it actually loaded in, but now I don't get any of the radar information on the WebEye. The temperatures are fine in the cockpit. There is no issues to attend. And like I always say, I have enabled failures in the Toliss, but only on the real life rate, so we don't expect any real failures during the flight.
Lufthansa 8 Romeo Kilo, expect a runway 26 right at Munich and proceed direct waypoint Delta Mike 428.
And right now,
8 Romeo Kilo, direct Delta Mike 428, runway 26 right. Is it possible to just continue and then hold that roll kill?
8 Romeo Kilo, yep, that's not inside my sector, so it will be on Unicom, I guess, because the center controller is not available, but you can ask the approach controller.
Roger, then, do you want me to switch to the approach then?
Yep, I will send you to the approach directly and you can coordinate with him to hold overhead roll kill.
we have
Thank you. Then, any chance we could continue on the route then?
Yep, continue then as filed and stand by for frequency change.
we have
Continue as filed. Thanks a lot.
we have 1,803 connections on the network right now. It's quite nice.
Lufthansa 7 Juliet Alpha, descend flight level 150.
Level 150, Lufthansa 7 Juliet Alpha.
Turkish 8 Mike Sierra, no ATC ahead, unfortunately. Monitor Unicom 122.8. Enjoy your flight. Bye bye.
Yeah, it's a bit of an issue. I hope that was not to me. I was not listening so well. Probably not.
Turkish 8 Mike Sierra, monitor Unicom 122.8.
It's Turkish.
Bye bye.
Okay. But again, I have the feeling that the audio server at least is doing strange things, because this is not the first person who doesn't read back information or a message, and that's very rare. I mean, people usually are doing this correctly on the network, so I have the feeling that something might be going not so well due to the pressure.
7 Juliet Alpha request.
7 Juliet Alpha, go ahead.
Sewage control just sent me 4 stacks. Could you try to encounter this?
Swiss 3050.
Roger, Swiss 128.050, Lufthansa 7 Juliet Alpha. Good evening.
Oops. Okay, I have not made a decent checklist item here, only an approach one. I have the flows and stuff written here, but I thought it might be interesting to have a look, but we are still very far, so probably not yet. Let's just put back the map, and maybe a map where you can see better where we are. The map server is
Lufthansa 8 Romeo Kilo, you may now contact Munich
slow
radar
today.
123.905.
So we are just above the
123,
center of
905.
Germany,
Thanks a lot.
north of
Lufthansa Atomic.
Würzburg. And I see that Hank and Bas are now in an airspace in in Czechia, where there is no ATC. It's a bit of a shame. There is only approach frequencies in Czechia and no control, at least based on WebEye.
Maybe just to be sure, we can prepare frequencies towards the end of the flight.
Eurowing 7 Mike Hotel. Eurowing 7 Mike Hotel, pass your message. Yeah, that's a short question. Are we still on your radar screen? Because as shown in our client, I'm disconnected. Hey, firm, I see you on the radar and the target is moving. Disregard, you just now disappeared from the radar. Okay, I will quickly reconnect. Eurowing 7 Mike Hotel. Yep, feel free to do so.
So Bratislava radar is going to be 132.355. Then there is going to be something above Hungary, which we'll figure out how it's called. The control in Hungary. It's from Budapest radar or Budapest control. We will have a look as far as that allows.
With Air 2185, contact Munich radar 118.235, bye-bye.
Munich on 118.235, is there 2185, thanks, bye-bye.
Alpine 2564, no ATC, I had monitor Unicom 1228, bye-bye.
118.235.
ciao, ciao.
Contact tower on 118.305. Ciao und danke.
Eurosky 123, München, radar, low, radar contact.
Flight 505, request business.
München radar, Wizard 2185, good evening, we are just overhead BOREP at flight level 350 heading eastwards.
505, descent level 200, thank you for the call.
Descending level 200, 155,
Wir sind an der Mike Bravo, München.
Radar, hello, with a 9 on Mike Bravo with you.
Anna Mike Bravo, hello, sorry for the late fall effect, I missed you on the radar. Continue present heading and expect ILS approach from base 10.
Continue present heading and expect ILS approach from Bay 10 with a 9 on Mike Bravo.
Lufthansa 6 Bravo Charlie, contact Bremen, 136.050, ciao.
Contact Bremen on 136.050, thank you for the service, bye-bye, Lufthansa 6 Bravo Charlie.
Bilan Bonbon Tango Papa. Ja, ist dabei. Bilan Bonbon Tango Papa, call Bremen, 136.050, bye-bye.
136.050, Beeline 11 Tango Papa, danke dir fürs Nutzen, gerne bis zum nächsten Mal.
Iberia Express 3671 München.
München, go ahead, Iberia Express 3671.
Iberia 3671 at our radar contact, climb flight level 330.
Climb flight level 330, Iberia Express 3671.
München radar low, Beeline 855, flight level 250.
We'll never get contact with München like this.
Bilan 85, München Throttle. For information, I just lost radar contact for you, however direct to back.
Can you say again the direct for Beeline 855?
Ja, direkt. Montag.
Lufthansa 728, request descent.
Yeah, all stations, be advised, use extreme caution. I've lost all radar contacts. Currently, no radar contacts on my radar screen, so use extreme caution. And the Lufthansa 738, position report, please.
Alright, that's
78.
nice. There is no radar for the radar.
At level 350, no traffic ahead.
Yeah, what's your destination? Sorry.
München.
Roger, Lufthansa 738, descent flight level 270, next report passing Armut.
We are already past Armut and descending to 7073.
Lufthansa 738, Roger, in this case, monitor Unicom, bye-bye.
Sun Unicom 128, viel Spaß noch, ciao.
München radar, Wizard 2185, good evening, flight level 350, inbound ENITA.
This is 2185, but however no radar contact, as I have no radar contact on my screen. Use extreme caution, the next report when 15 nautical miles prior ENITA.
Acknowledge you don't have radar and will report when 15 nautical miles from ENITA. Wizard 185 looking out, extra caution.
Provider 15505, reaching flight level 100, 10 miles to Akudi.
Right, so you'll...
5505, roger, contact Bremen 136.050.
136.050, 15505.
So we'll have to report...
123, level 70, 35 miles inbound Dinkelspiel.
ourselves before ENITA, because they don't have radar. That's an unfortunate thing.
123, radar contact now, climb flight level 130.
Climb level 130, Oscar 123.
With another Mike Bravo, radar contact is at 5,000 feet, unit 9906.
This is 5,000 feet, unit 9906, is a 99 Bravo.
And we also either get acknowledged that we appear on the radar, and then we don't have to call back, or we'll still have to call back. But so...
Iberia Express 3671 radar contact.
And then there's going to be later Budapest radar at 120375.
Copy that, Iberia Express 3671.
Okay, radar, good day, Romania 482, passing flight level 150, direct Peru.
Romania 482, when Charleroi radar contact, climb flight level 3, radar 0.
And then Budapest approach.
Romania 482, thank you.
There's another Mike Bravo, turn right heading 020, descend 4,200 feet.
On 122975.
Right heading 020, confirm.
FM.
Right heading 020 and 4,200 feet to the 9 Bravo.
And then tower at 1181.
Iberia Express 3671, climb flight level 340.
Climb flight level 340, Iberia Express 3671, but just to confirm our flight level was 330.
Yeah, no, but you're flying to the west, you need an even level, so either 340 or 320.
Roger, we will go with 340, Iberia Express 3671.
Eurosky 123, contact Bremen, correction, Langen natürlich, 123.280, bye bye.
Langen, 123, schönen Abend, Tino, ciao.
And then later, oh no.
Mr. Radar, good evening, Fleet
Webby keeps dying on me.
330, flight level inbound to Tadef, Feebit 034.
Yeah, the servers are... The servers are busy. Very busy. Okay, we are coming up on ENITA, we are 20 nautical miles, so we are going to report.
Another Mike Bravo, turn right heading 070, clear direct approach, runway 10.
Very soon, and the WebEye is again dead, so I cannot check frequencies anymore.
So Air Force 776, no radar contact. Beta 855, no radar contact. Alpine 6, correction, 16, Yankee, correction. Yeah, Yankee, no radar contact.
No radar contact, so line 855.
With Air 2185, no radar contact.
With Air 2185 is just 15 nautical miles from ENITA.
Yeah, Roger, maybe try to reconnect if I don't have you on my screen.
Roger, we'll try to reconnect, although I've seen that the network is very busy, so then we are a bit risking not being able to come back online, but we will try to do that with Air 2185.
Yeah, if you don't feel comfortable, you can also stay connected. I don't wanna force you to disconnect, so like use whatever you think is useful.
I think we'll stay on the online then for the time being with Air 2185. I don't know if ENITA is already your fear boundary.
Otherwise, standing by for further instructions. These are 2185.
Yeah, Bizarre 2185. If you pass ENITA and don't hear that I have you in radar contact, you call Praha 127.125.
Alright, after ENITA, if we don't hear from you, then Praha on 127.125. Bizarre 2185.
Upon Roxy Golf and Dalek requesting this.
Upon 16 Yankee Golf, yeah, right contact now. Direct La Look, descent level 200.
Direct lux and descent flight level 200 after 16 Europe.
And with the 9 Mike Bravo established on the localizer runway 10.
It's another Mike Bravo, contact chopper 118.305, bye bye.
118.305, 9 Mike Bravo, thank you, bye. VLAN 855, request descent.
Yeah, Binternet 555, no radar contact to you. However, you were not that incorrect.
Yeah, the problem is WebEye is also completely dead, so I cannot really check. But we have passed ENITA.
Binternet 555, your destination was valid correct.
We'll try to check also on the desktop, but it's not going to. Oh, now it has loaded in. Okay. Then where are we?
855 went here.
Okay, it loaded in, but our plane is not at the correct position. That's interesting to say.
Alpine 16 Yankee Golf, descent level 170.
Maybe we'll have to try to reconnect, otherwise it's not going to work out, because if our plane is not displaying in the current position, it's possible that that's why they cannot see us on the radar.
Correction 170.
So we might try to do that, even though it's a bit strange.
Commander 482, München.
Great, sir.
Okay, you with me. How do you rate?
Side by side now.
Alpine 16 Yankee Golf, München.
Yeah, clearly something is not okay on the network. We will try to disconnect and reconnect, because things are not great, I think.
Alpine 16 Yankee Golf, München.
Yeah, we'll try to do that. Okay, we disconnected for a second. We will come back online. And it's not working. Okay, let's pick a different server. Try to pick a server that actually is willing to take us online. Okay, we are online again. But the frequency of Munich is not turning green, so that's not good. Yeah, Steph says that he sees Bas and Henk 2 times on WebEye. That's indeed not a good sign. That's more than what I can see right now on WebEye already. So that's interesting. We'll try to tune to Praha on 127.125 to start with. 127.125, and then we'll see if there is somebody there. And worst case scenario, I will start. There is no Praga online. There is Praga approach, but no Prague. So we'll try to go to Unicom, and maybe I will ask the other guys if there is a frequency above Prague. What is this? Czechia. Yeah, the servers. That's at least we knew that would happen. Huh? This happens all the time when they have this event. It's a bit of a pity, because you see all the nice coverage on WebEye before everybody starts flying, and then yeah, now I can see on WebEye that there was a huge drop in numbers. So probably a lot of people got disconnected. Okay, now I can see myself on WebEye twice too. Okay, I can also see myself twice on WebEye, but there is no frequency. So that's something. At least then we will quickly prepare the remaining frequencies and we'll try to fly things as they are now. So, I mean, it's a bit ridiculous, but that's what it is. But when the WebEye comes online, I can see that there is no radar. There is only approach. We were writing down the frequencies in Budapest and Slovakia to prepare. So I have from Bratislava radar, Budapest approach, Budapest tower, and Budapest ground. That's what we still need. That's 1219. That was the frequency which I was checking, but WebEye died again on me. CTR 127, 125. So Prague might came online. CTR 127, 125.
Praha Radar Alpine 16 Yankee Golf, letová hladina 228.
Right, Prague is online.
Alpine 16 Yankee Golf, Praha Radar, dobrý večer, poloha.
Alpine 16 Yankee Golf, momentálně budeme Laluk.
Yankee Golf, když tak si ještě zkontroluj připojení, prosím, teď hodně letadel, nebo hodně ty servery padají.
Dobrá, zpátky.
Prague radar, Wizard 2185, good evening, flight level 350 inbound REPIC.
Wizard 2185, Prague, good evening, radar contact, expect 330 by PEPIK, call for descent.
Say again the second part of the message, Wizard 2185.
Expect flight level 330 by PEPIK, report ready for descent.
Expect flight level 330 by PEPIK, because of traffic, will report when ready for descent. Wizard 2185.
Ryanair 1 Lima Whiskey, descent flight level 330.
So we can program to REPIC 330. Then we can put flight level constraint slash flight level 330.
Oscar Kilo Alpha Victor, pokračujte na Bravo November Oscar.
Why does that not? Maybe I have to do below. Slash flight level 330.
Good evening, Flight 4 with you, flight level 330, inbound Dobil.
Or is it B? No.
People 034, Praha radar, good evening, please try to reconnect. Now radar contact.
Yes, I have 5 times reconnected, but you can hear me, thank you.
Okay, it doesn't. Well. Anyway,
the servers are not what they used to be.
Our top of descent would be almost there, so we'll just report like
busy, I think.
2 minutes before REPIC, because
But
their
not
initial
that many
descent rate.
actually.
Our descent rate is quite high, so we just need 1 or 2 minutes, well, probably 1 minute to get down to 330.
Prague radar, negative, proceed to Bravo, request to vector, Oscar Kilo Alpha Victor.
Oscar Kilo Alpha Victor, jaká je vaše výška?
7600 stop, Oscar Kilo Alpha Victor.
Oh, that was the speed limit.
Tady vidím 9000, ale pod zemí.
I was pressing the wrong buttons. So this should be, the speed limit is at flight level 100 indeed. That's correct, and the altitude constraint.
Celkem dost, když tak se prosím zkus ještě připojit, odpojit.
That's
tak to možná zlepší, protože takhle nemůžu poskytovat radarové vedení.
dissociate.
There you go. There you go, and now it's correct. And then you see that basically the descent is just before.
Hotel 440 Papa, landing 160 and direct to Venice.
Okay, we've solved that. That was a bit of a weird mistake, probably because I was flying another plane and got confused, but
Hotel 440 Papa, Praha radar, good evening. Radar contact, climb 240. Qualify level 240, Hotel 440 Papa.
Yeah, but WebEye is completely kakuk. But in theory I have all the frequencies now written down, what I should need in the future. So that's good. The next frequency is going to be Bratislava radar at 132. 132.355. 132.355. 132. 132.355.
Oscar Victor, radar contact, hodina 7.0, točte doleva, kurz 360.
Always strange to hear the non-English ATC at some of the countries. So now our top of descent is 94 nautical miles.
Ryanair 1 Whiskey, correction, 1 Lima Whiskey. You may try calling Bratislava 132.355. I'm not sure if he will answer or not.
Your contact Bratislava radar on 132.355 for Ryanair 1 Lima.
And in the meantime, Bas is reporting in the chat that he doesn't have contact with Bratislava, so they might also have issues with the server. This is so an annoying issue, because it makes things difficult when a lot of people are looking forward to these events, and then the servers are letting us down.
Křesťanský golf je to 5, přijďte na Prahu 127580.
Rozumím, Praha 127580, díky, čau.
But soon we'll start doing our descent preparations around 60 nautical miles from top of descent. And then let's hope that in Hungary we'll have proper ATC. Otherwise things might get interesting around landing. I wanted to put in the maps for the Navigraph maps here too, so I can see when we are entering the CTR boundary. So here you can see around the plane. I don't know how much you can see it, but here's the zone of Czechia, Czech Republic, here is Slovakia, and here is Hungary. So you'll still enter Slovakia, and then go down a bit, and then there enter Hungary. So that is the plan. You can actually see it here. I can zoom out a bit, and then step through the flight plan, and that we are going to come in, and then if we zoom in, a bit less maybe.
With the correction of Sky Travel 440 Papa, contact München 118.235, right?
So that's the plan.
Contact München 118.235, Hotel 440 Papa, ahoy. Weaver 034, switch to Unicom 128, bye bye.
Switching Unicom, Fever 034.
Wizard 2185, switch to Unicom, bye bye.
Unicom 122.8, Wizard 285, thanks, bye bye. Okay, so maybe they had enough and they decided that it's... Ooh, and there is only Unicom. Whoa, that's weird. That's weird. Okay, so suddenly there is only Unicom. That's a bad sign. Ah, and then we are offline. Why are we offline? Huh. Okay. So I cannot even connect to the server anymore. Why does this always happen? We are back on the server. And the bus is reporting Budapest is online. Okay. difficult. But we are now Unicom, and there is only Unicom. That's strange. We are offline again. This is going to be, let's say, interesting. We will keep an eye on the flying in the meantime. And what we've learned in the past 2-3 years is that we are not going to participate in these events anymore, because at least not do a stream, because there is not much of a point. It's more fun when these unexpected things don't happen. And no, I really cannot reconnect. And now we are online for probably 3 seconds. But maybe in the meantime we should prepare our descent just to go with the flow. So descent preparation, we are how much? We are 50 nautical miles from the top of descent, so that's really a time when you should start preparing. And how are the frequencies? There is some frequencies coming online. That's always a good sign. So we're on the preparation. So descent preparation, landing elevation is auto, flight on arrival is set, descent winds. We can try to. We didn't fill in the winds before the flight actually. Wind request is not available, so you'll have to do it manually. So we go to the wind data page, and here is our descent. And on 350 there is 27174, 27174, 350, and then 26230, 26230 at 200, and 25219, 25219 at flight level 100. It might actually be already at the transition altitude in Budapest, I will check. So that's fine. And then for the performance arrival approach for Budapest, we'll check on the weather. And it's 1007 in Budapest now, QNH 1007. 1007 is the QNH. Temperature is -1 degrees. Brr. It's CAV OK, wind is 1206, 120 degrees 6 knots. What's the transition altitude in Budapest? If there was a... maybe we can see it in the WebEye. If there are miracles. Yes, transition altitude is 10,000 feet. Correct. So the flight load is probably 120. It's 120. Transition flight load is 120. And then for the ILS approach, we have 654 as the baro minimums, and ILS 13 right is expected, and it's still what they say on the 80s. So that's correct. That's set up. We just need low auto brakes. And then I think we are prepared. Flight plan, descent winds, frequencies, we can check if our frequencies are already there. 1105, 1105, RadNav 1105, and the course is not yet updated. That will be updated later. And we might do that manually if it doesn't update, but normally it should be updated automatically. The progress page, we can do a check and enter the runway here. It's 13 right, and then we see the distance as the crow flies to the runway. It's always helpful. Performance approach is all done. Fuel prediction, just to have a check. We have plenty fuel. We will actually be landing with quite a lot of fuel. Don't know why I have so much extra fuel. I know why I have so much extra fuel, because I think I probably selected the classic Airbus and not the Neo. We will still not be beyond the load. Okay, we are going to be landing under the maximum landing weight, so that's fine. We will just be a bit heavier than usual, but we are on the allowed weight. On SimBrief, I accidentally probably clicked the classic Airbus A321 and not the Neo, and that would explain why we have so much more fuel than we need. I was not really aware of that when I did the checks. Okay, auto brake is set and the engine anti-ice and wing anti-ice is still as it should be. So we are ready for descent. There is not a checklist, but we have already briefed our arrival. There is a GPS airnav arrival by ARFOX making an S-turn basically, and we expect vectors for the ILS the 1-3 right, and then it's a standard ILS from 3,500 feet starting, and then the go around is straight and then a turn to 160. We can write it down, turn to 160 and climb to what's the go around altitude? Missed approach, airnav. Turn right heading 160, continue climb to 3000, then expect rudder vectoring. So the missed approach altitude for the climb is 3000 feet. Okay, and the flight level 120 is the transition flight level. And we are on the top of our descent in 5, so that's okay. Let's start set an initial descent to whatever, flight level 120, and we can already start that. So top of descent reached, and I set an initial descent of flight level 120, and we are basically coming into Slovakia, I think, and then we can contact Slovakia radar, Bratislava radar, if they are online, which of course no guarantees lately. But so that should be 132.355, 132.355, and then Budapest is 120, 120.375, 120.375 and 132.355, 132.355. We are inbound PEPIK, and I don't have anybody on the frequency. Allez. Oh. So they are probably not online. So annoying. Strange, because now I can see myself on the radar. And 132.355 should be the frequency. 132.355 is the frequency. We are on the frequency. But I can of course not see it now. 132.355. No, I cannot see the frequency. That's slightly annoying. So on WebEye now it shows up as there, but inside the sim doesn't show up. One 132.355. It's annoying. That's a 110. ARFOX flight level 110. Progress. Flight plan, sorry. ARFOX, oh, 110, Jesus Christ, okay. That's gonna be difficult. 110. And then now we should be going down like crazy, basically. So you can see that the power is going back. And we will be doing a big dive here if we have to reach ARFOX Okay. Okay, we got a message. I don't know that was actually visible on the screen or not, but we got a message from Budapest control to reach ARFOX by flight level 1. Why aren't we going down faster? Flight level 110, can we expedite that? No, we are already on idle. Let's try full flaps. That's a bit of a deep dive. But we need that, otherwise we are not going to make it. Oh, but that's too deep. Let's not do this. That's too much. We just need to make it by then. Okay, so we don't have to go that deep. 2005 is good enough. That was cabin altitude was also changing way too fast. Okay, it was visible on the top screen. Thanks, Steph, for the feedback. And then we can prepare our maps for the arrival. So if it will be vector, then I guess I think I can just leave the I have the approach, the arrival here, and then we'll switch the approach. But this is going to be fine. Our speed is going to be fine. We can go a bit like that. Then we might be able to also just go back to managed. So you'll probably get the vectors instead of doing the S, because otherwise you would not have to be at ARFOX so early. But that's good. How are our frequencies? Now the course is also correct and the slope is correct, so that's good for the ILS. And then we actually have to contact Budapest when we can, and that maybe I should have a look back to the map. Yeah, soon we will have to contact Budapest. Basically ARFOX is where we have to contact Budapest. Okay, that's good. So at ARFOX we'll contact Budapest. And on the descent, that's where we are going to catch up with the calculated, and now we don't need a speed brake anymore. We can just go to managed, so we don't need this. Oh, sorry, we managed. Okay, good. So in idle and managed descent, that's all good for now. What else do we need to prepare? I think we are all prepared for our arrival. So there is nothing we would need to be, nothing else we would need to be doing. And it's kind of a counterintuitive thing that when you have to go steeper, then the Airbus speeds up, but while speeding up you have more drag, so you can go down steeper. I think that's the theory here. Bas got a straight in, nice, we are ready for a straight in. That's the best, and then we don't have to be here and risk a disconnection even longer. So straight in, that's great. We actually have still time to maybe do something nice for that. For example, we can, in the flight plan, do a fix info to Lima Hotel Bravo Papa, so Budapest 13 right. That's going to be the reference, and then we can do a radial contact Budapest approach. Yes, sir, yes. Budapest approach on 122975. Budapest 122975. 122975. And then the tower is 1181, so let's prepare that. 118, 118, 181. Budapest approach with 2185. Good evening. We are inbound ARFOX, descending flight level 110, crossing flight level 145.
This is 185 Budapest with the contact to descend altitude. Correction, descend level 100.
Descend flight level 100 with 2185.
Budapest radar, Austin is my Juliet only radio check.
And normally that's 307.
Station Corsair again.
Austrian 6 Mike Juliet only radio check.
And now here you can see.
85.
Thank you.
What you can see here now is the runway's axis. So with the blue dashed line.
This is 185, proceed direct Bravo Papa 755, descend altitude 8000 feet, QNH 1007.
Direct Bravo Papa 755, descend altitude 7000 feet, and QNH is 1007. Visa to 185.
8000 feet, 8000, QNH 1007, 8000 feet.
8000 feet, and QNH is 1007. Visa to 185. Okay, and Bravo Papa 755, direct Bravo Papa 755. There you go. And I think maybe we should go a bit steeper than that, otherwise we'll never be at 3500 by then. Yeah, I think that's okay, like 1009. Well, normally this should actually be fine on managed, because it knows the altitudes already. We can go to local QNH 1007. Okay, and will we decelerate at a good point? No, that's not good. Then let's do this manually. So decelerate to 245 from all these changes. And we'll have to do that at 10,000 feet, because there is a speed limit of 250 before under 10,000. But then let's do this a bit. First of all, let's slow down with the help of speed brakes, otherwise you have to level off. I don't want to level off fully. We'll have to level off for a bit, otherwise we'll go through the speed limit. I can already see Budapest in the distance. Okay, we're slowing down.
Visa to 185, descend 3000 feet.
Descend 3000 feet, Visa to 185. And now we are under the speed limit. We can go, and so basically when I change the descent rate, you can see with this blue arrow,
where we will meet that altitude. So I know that we just have to be there. Actually, it should be at 3,500 or below here. So if I reach 3,000 before that, then we level off for a bit. We don't need the speed brakes probably anymore. Should be able to hold this speed, and we can go 1,004 without speed brakes and slowing down. That's good enough. Okay, but in any case, we can put our target speed to the green dot speed, but we are already at idle, so we can basically only use our brakes or change our pitch to lose some straight speed. Our tower is prepared, so tower is 1181. Oh no, tower is 122975 actually. 122975. That's gonna be tower 122975, 122975, and ground is going to be 1181. Wait, no, that was approach. Tower is 1181. Okay, I'm getting confused here. 1181. 1181. So bus also got in way too high, and tower was not online and ground was. Alright, okay. So we might then be ready only for ground, and it's 121.9. I don't know actually. But if we are on the ground, we can write that down, so no worries. We'll still try to load in a WebEye, but I don't have big hopes for that. Use a bit of speed brakes because I don't want to go less steep, but I want to slow down a bit. So should it be only ground, it would be 121.91 indeed. So we'll see about that. We are slowing down. We are a bit too fast, I think. Our altitude is good, but a bit too fast. Let's try already slow down to green dot speed, and then we can also put some flaps out slowly. Am I still online? Everything is so quiet. Ah, okay, everything is good. So we'll take the runway on the right. And what we didn't do is landing lights on and seatbelt signs on. We forgot about that because we were very busy. QNH is set, so that's alright. Briefing is fine. Terron radar is on, seatbelt signs, landing lights. Coaster is on LS, and let's zoom in a bit more. And since we got a direct, we can continue. Probably we can establish on the ILS also without any further message. So we are direct here to Bravo Papa 755, that's the initial fix for the approach. Maximum 230 knots there, so we are already meeting that. We are just dropping down below that. And I'm already gonna do flaps 1 and then drop the speed down to safe speed, so let's say 205. That's a bit below safe speed, so we can put out more flaps and then activate approach mode when we need to do that. The approach mode is already activated, so that's good. And the only last thing we'll want to do is a checklist on approach. Briefing confirmed, ACOM status is checked, seatbelts are on, BOREP is set, minimums are set, engine mode is selected, so approach checklist is complete. And then a landing checklist before landing.
Wizard 185, clear ILS 13 right.
Cleared ILS 13 right, Wizard 185. Okay, so that's great. So we'll descend till 3000. I can already break the descent rate a bit. Let's say 700, and then we don't need speed brakes anymore. We are down to safe speed, S speed. And Steph says he cannot find Hank anymore. It's a bit of a pity. Oh, Hank is lost. It was nice to fly with him while he was there. But now we are coming up at Budapest. Let's turn off the lights here and also in the cabin. Let's call the cabin for lights. And then we will very soon switch to approach mode and turn on
autopilot 2, we are at more or less 2,500 feet above ground. And we can zoom in more, and that's the final approach. We're still far from the glide slope, but we can already establish on the localizer. So we can do approach and autopilot 2, and then when we establish on the localizer, we will report that. And Hank says, unfortunately, that he cannot reconnect anymore. So that's unfortunate. So we are established on the localizer and holding 3,000 feet. Wizz Air 2185 established on the localizer for ILS runway 13 right.
Wizz Air 2185, special contact Tower 181, sziasztok.
Tower 118.1, jó estét, and thanks for the service. Wizz Air 2185.
Yeah.
1181 for tower, and 121.91 will be the ground. 121.91, 1181, let's check our frequency. Yes, and what we are at, how many miles final? 9 mile final. We will wait till we start going down on the ILS and then report final. But what we'll do is go back to managed speed and start throwing down flaps. Wizz Air Budapest Tower, Wizz Air 2185, good evening. We are on an 8 mile final on the ILS runway 13 right.
Wizz Air 2185, wind 118, correction 110 degrees, 7 knots, runway 13 right, clear to land.
Runway 13 right, clear to land, Wizz Air 2185. Okay, let's go gears. Flaps 2 gears, good. Glide slope is also captured. I see that the ILS is not great here in Budapest, so we'll take it over manually much earlier. Okay, gears down, flaps 3.
2000.
And flaps full. And with the gears also spoilers armed, and runway turn-off lights on, landing lights on, takeoff. So we should have full configuration lights over Budapest. Great. Then landing. Cabin is secured for landing. Auto throttle is on managed speed. Go around altitude is 3,000 feet set. ECMO landing no blue. Great. Then from here on, let's go manual, because this ILS alignment doesn't look very great. There is 10 knots wind from 132 degrees. And then we disengage the autopilot, and we don't need the flight directors anymore. So let's line up a bit better with the center line. And I wanted to make the tower a bit louder because it was very quiet when this person talked. On the glide slope we can still use the diamonds to track, but for the center line we go fully just visual. Of course, now with the good weather conditions I can also just follow the puppies. And then let's try to make a nice landing. So before landing checklist was complete. A bit more to the left. A bit lower.
500.
We are a bit high.
400.
It's correct.
300.
100 above.
200.
Minimum.
Continue.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. Retard. 10.
Ay, it's a bit hard, but let's say firm landing. 360, alright. That's because you're much heavier than usual, but 360 is fine. We can maybe... no, we'll not vacate here. Will we vacate here? Maybe we can vacate here. Yeah, we can vacate here. I have the brakes, reversers off. And we will vacate here to the left. At Juliet 4.
Reserve 2185, welcome to Budapest, contact ground 121.910.
Ground on 121.910, Wizard 285. I think that was 901, okay, 901. Let's do our flow quickly, flaps up, spoilers, weather rudder off. Let's make it a bit lighter here, landing lights off and restricted, runway turn flight state, taxi, strobe auto, master APU, and then also an APU start. Yes, and then let's contact now ground. Budapest ground, Wizard 2185, good evening, we have vacated runway 13 right on the Bravo 2, request taxi.
Wizard 185, sziasztok, taxi to stand Romeo 212 via Bravo 2, Alpha and Hotel 1, Hotel 2.
Taxi to stand Romeo 212 via Bravo 2, Alpha, Hotel 1 and Hotel 2, Wizard 2185, sziasztok. Alright, let's do a quick check of if I've done all the checks. And then we'll have a look at our taxi route. So, after landing, landing lights, nose wheel, strobe, ground spoilers, engine mode, weather radar, transponder, standby flaps retract, APU master on, APU start pressed, brake temperature monitor, and we are still so far so good. So after landing checklist is complete. Bus landing rate prediction 120, correction 120 times 3. Then that was a good guess. I prefer firm landings. I like my passengers know when they landed. I mean, if they have to ask, have we landed all the time? That's annoying, right? Okay, let's have a look where we have to actually go. So Bravo 2, Alpha, Hotel 1, Hotel 2. So Alpha is the second to the left. And then Hotel 1, Hotel 2 inbound. Okay, and Romeo 212. Okay, that's here. That's fine. Maybe I'm gonna put this up so I don't have to, and to the right so you can also see it. Or, yeah, left up, that's good. No, right down. Sorry. Okay, so we go to Alpha and then Hotel 1, Hotel 2. Looking out, no traffic. I can see bus already at the terminal. Yeah, we are low cost, so we are not going to get a stand at the terminal. That's the only pity when you're flying with air. Okay, and then we need to take the first one after this wing of the terminal. That should be the next one. There is even a Hotel 1 sign, so that's correct. And Hank is asking if I'm still on IVAO. Must be, because I can see bus, and my radio also says I'm on IVAO, so that seems to be correct. Then Hotel 1, Hotel 2, and then to the left there should be a stand for us. So Hotel 1 here to the right. Let's slow down a tiny bit. Turn with 20 knots is a bit fast. So this is Hotel 1 and this is the main terminal for Budapest. Yeah, it's actually Terminal 2. And this satellite extension was built later. And they are planning on building another one on the left side. And the left side on the terminal is the oldest part of Terminal 2. And here we need to go left, right? Is this already Hotel 2? I think so. Let's just have a quick look outside. No, that's Whiskey. Wait, yeah, that's Whiskey. I need to go still straight. Yeah, we're still straight. Because to the left that was Whiskey. So Hotel 1 and Hotel 2. And then we'll check the replay, of course, of that slightly harder landing. But very far from being so hard that it would mean some checks on the gear and the landing parts of the aircraft. So nothing too bad. Okay, and then our stand is Romeo 212, so that should be the furthest one. Romeo 210, Romeo 210, and then 212 is going to be at the very end. Unfortunately, I think here we'll not get a marshal error. Romeo 211 and then Romeo 212 is the next one here to the left. So we don't need the map anymore. We can slow down slightly. It would be nice if we got a marshal error, but I don't think we'll get. Okay, so we are a long plane. Now we are going to cheat a bit. Maybe I have to look from the outside. No, I think we can manage without looking from the outside. It's a pity because for 2 to 7 there is a marshal error, so we'll just have to do it like this then. Okay, brakes on, and then parking brakes on, parking brake on, anti-ice can go off. The APU bleed goes on, and external power is not available, so we cannot put it on, and then the master switches of the engine 1 and 2 can go off. And the transponder can go standby. Runway turn off lights go off, taxi lights go off, nose wheel lights off, wing light was not on, beacon light.
Now Ryanair 1 Lima Whiskey is back on the frequency. We are at gate 3 and not giving the frequency yet.
Ryanair 1 and Lima Whiskey, go ahead. I don't see your flight then.
We arrived at Budapest at main link, so we'll disconnect. Thank you for controlling. Bye.
Oh, Ryanair 1 Lima. Oh, Ryanair 1 Lima Whiskey, monitoring command to decimal 8. Thank you for your flight.
Okay, so the engines are off, and then the beacon lights can also go off if the engine has stopped. Engine has stopped. And beacon lights can go off.
Vizer 185 on blocks, monitoring Unicom 122.8, sziasztok.
Unicom 122.8, thank you for the service and have a nice evening. Sziasztok, Vizer 2185.
Köszi, viszont.
And then we go Unicom. We have to wait a tiny bit of time to make sure that we have been enough at the parking spot to get our award. Hopefully we'll get our award after all this disconnecting, but I'm pretty sure we will. They know how difficult it has been for all of us on the network. So I'm just gonna maybe start this timer, the chrono, for another 2 minutes to make sure that we don't disconnect before the 3 minutes in our parking spot has passed. And then until then we can go further, so the elapsed timer was stopped. Maybe I can also put on some call the bus, fuel truck and a GPU, and maybe a catering tax and also stairs. And for that I can also just do our doors automatically, sorry, manually. Then open. Okay, cargo also open, and the rear and the front door also open. So then normally if we look outside now, then we should see our passengers deboarding and already with the bus ready. Maybe if we just look back, and indeed if you just look, then we can see our passengers deboarding. And there is a bus which will take people to the terminal. So the bus actually goes here, that's where the entrance is for the terminal, and then you can go in, collect the baggage and so on and so on. And it's not visible yet in the scenery, but they have built an extra terminal here where there was only a walkway and some very low-cost entrances. So they have built there a terminal for Wizz Air and the other low-cost airlines, so that should be nicer. I have not seen it yet because in the past 2 years we have not flown back to Budapest. Hopefully now at Christmas we'll manage to do that. And then the crew oxygen supply can go off. All display units would be dimmed, but I'm going to leave that now. And the brake fan now is not needed at all, so we've been not too hard on the brakes. Because we can have a look at the wheels. They are just on the limit, so at 300 degrees. Probably as the temperature rises and the sensors, it might still go higher, and then you would need to use the brake fans. But for us now it's okay. So parking APU bleed is as required, engines are off, seatbelt signs are off, external lights as are required, fuel pumps can go off, so the fuel pumps can go off. Parking brakes and chocks as required, mobile phones can be on, transponder is standby, and the radars are off. So the parking checklist is complete. I think we have had enough time also, so I'm going to disconnect and then we can have a quick look at the replay. So disconnecting the network, disconnect. Then we are off the network and we can have a quick replay of the landing from a few angles. And we can see how it was. So replay, just a bit more back, a bit more than that.
40, 100.
Alright, let's first from an external viewpoint. It's a bit difficult in the dark, but normally as the wheels come closer to the ground, you should still be able to see something. Yeah, bit of a bounce. Not enough pitch. I have not risen the nose high enough. It happens. It's probably contributed that we were heavier than usual, but still not too bad. I think it's a bit of a issue also in the simulator that the shock absorbers are not as efficient as in real life. Because in real life, I'm pretty sure if you see a landing with a 350 feet per minute, you will not see the airplane bounce. The shock absorbers will absorb the energy, and the airplane will still down, so it stay down.
40, 100.
Let's see it from the runway's viewpoint. So it's the difficulty of modeling the shock absorbers in X-plane properly. Yeah, because there is a tiny bit of a bounce. That's life. That happens. But I think it was a nice flight. Other than that, we had a lot of ATC. Of course, the disconnections were a bit of a problem. There was also a bit of a technical issue with the first time the camera. But since I restarted the system there, then things were going fine. So I hope the next time we do this stream, there's not going to be any technical issues. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you might have learned something from the flight. It was a quite nice flight with the Airbus. We had to do a lot of special things, a direct, some open climb, and a descent in a vertical speed mode instead of a managed descent. A direct, I did a fix info, the runway center line, and then we switched to manual for the landing. And we have followed a lot of procedures and checklists. So I think it was interesting. I hope it was interesting. Then we can just turn off the plane, so all the screens can be shut down. And then the timers reset, so we had 1 hour 45 minutes of block time, more or less. All exterior lights afterwards can be shut off, no strobe lights and no nav lights anymore. Seatbelt signs should have already gone off. The no smoking signs can be turned off, and the emergency light can also go off. And then we don't need the APU bleed and the APU master anymore. The audio panels can be turned off. And by that, then just the battery 2 first, and then battery 1 turns off the whole system. And then that's it. We can basically close all the doors and leave the plane for the night, and probably in the morning the plane will fly back to Charleroi or to another Wizz Air destination. Let's remove those guys. Those are removed. And thanks Steph also for being here and listening. And goodbye to everybody from Budapest. Enjoy the rest of the weekend and see you the next time. Fly safe.